some conservative Catholic political leaders, they won't like that. Given the Pope's not afraid of controversy, how will he likely respond to his critics, do you think?
I'm really not sure he will respond to his critics. I think the Pope is banking on the fact that he is speaking on the side of science here, that the majority of scientists affirm that climate change, global warming, is man-made, in addition to some environmental influences, but that man has a hand in this. So I think with science on his side, he is pretty confident. I think what we're going to see is the Pope putting everything in the context that we are not the center of the universe, that God has created us, that we have an interrelatedness to all of creation and to one another, and we have to respect that interrelatedness. This is a theme that the Pope has spoken on again and again. So we're going to see a critique of the world economy that oppresses the poor. He's going to say that the poor are the ones who are affected most by this raping and pillaging of the environment. And so it's also going to be a socio-political statement on economy and the way in which the poor are treated in our world.
Yeah, and it will certainly be interesting too, the timing of this just before some global meetings on climate change. So we'll see what sort of impact and influence this has on those meetings that are yet to come. Father Edward Beck, thank you so much for talking with us here on CNN. We do appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And for more on Pope Francis's landmark letter on climate change, you can head over to CNN.com. And we'll take a very short break, but we are still waiting to hear from the mayor and chief of police in Charleston covering that shooting at a church there where there were multiple fatalities. We'll have more in just a moment. Just stay with us.
This summer, get ready for suspense. Unbridled jealousy.
She's still there.
New beginnings.
Goodbye.
And sheer exhilaration.
Rock and roll.
Roger.
It's the event you don't want to miss. It's the Summer of Audi sales event. Get up to $3,000 bonus on select Audi models now during the Summer of Audi sales event.
Heartburn.
No one burns on my watch. Try Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief Juice. They work fast and don't taste chalky.
Amazing. I have heartburn.
Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief Juice. Enjoy the relief.
Under the roof of a home or business, damage can happen. When it does, turn to the specialists who put help in the palm of your hand. The Ready App and Emergency Response Plans from 1-800-SERVE-PRO. It never even happened.
Well, I'm not a pro.
Go inside golf's most competitive event. The U.S. Open Experience from DirecTV. Watch 4 screens of enhanced coverage all on one channel, featuring live championship action. Plus, get exclusive interactive stats, including scorecards and leaderboard. Cable and Dish can deliver championship golf like this. The U.S. Open Experience begins June 18th, only on DirecTV, in partnership with Fox Sports.
Welcome to Smarter Investing. At Betterment, we've created automated investing to help people make better financial decisions and reach their goals. We make your life better by helping you manage your money, invest for your personal goals, and stay on track for retirement. The revolution of smarter, more straightforward, personalized investing has started. We're leading the way.
Flagfish returns to CNN Saturday night at 9 Eastern.
Closed captioning brought to you by ChristianMingle.com. Find God's match for you. Find that one special person who makes you stronger, better.
Find the person you were meant to find.
Join ChristianMingle.com
officials should update the media potentially within the next 5 minutes. There's a serious situation there now because police are frantically searching for a 21-year-old white suspect who reportedly shot at a predominantly black church in the downtown area. A white male being sought at this hour. An official close to the investigation tells CNN there are multiple fatalities at the church, and officials there are still working to identify some of the victims.
Now, the incident happened just a few hours ago. Emmanuel AME, the site of the shooting, is said to be the oldest black church in the southern United States.
We are also following more breaking news coming to us out of Hong Kong. Lawmakers have rejected a plan for electoral reform there. Let's bring in our senior international correspondent, Ivan Watson, who joins us live from Hong Kong. Ivan, what happened?
Well, just moments ago, the Legislative Council held its vote, and as expected, the proposal for a new election system, election regulations, was voted down. So that has already been declared a victory by members of the so-called pan-democratic bloc, who were arguing that even though the new proposal would allow residents in Hong Kong to, for the very first time, elect their own chief executive in 2017, basically one man, one vote, as it's been described, they're celebrating that that has been voted down, arguing that it would result in not a real election because the procedures would allow the central government in China to vet the few candidates that could stand for office. Now, this, of course, has been denounced by supporters of the government in Beijing. There was a major walkout from the assembly room in the midst of the voting, so that in the end, out of 70 council members, only 37 were present. 28 voted down the motion, 8 voted in favor. Now, the second highest official here in Hong Kong, Carrie Lam, before the vote took place, she said it looks like this motion that she had worked very hard on would not pass. She said, quote, "I am sad, I am disappointed, I do not know when democratization will move forward in Hong Kong." So this basically showdown over a proposed election system for 2017 has resulted in a setback for the authorities in Hong Kong who had endorsed the proposal, and a setback for the ruling Communist Party in mainland China, which had also endorsed this program. Chinese officials and Chinese state media on the mainland basically denouncing the opponents of this election proposal, calling them radicals, and in some cases even linking them to an alleged bomb plot that Hong Kong police say they foiled earlier this week. Errol?
And Ivan, despite that, we saw that for the most part the protests this week were peaceful, and even last year this umbrella movement led mostly by young people and by students who wanted more independence for their vote for local officials. They didn't want Chinese interference or feedback from Beijing. How is this demographic likely to respond to this motion failing?
Well, one of the prominent student leaders, Joshua Wong, who very much rose to prominence during the so-called Umbrella Revolution, he said that he's not predicting any more